Hello YouTube. I'm here doing a video about how to fix the Volvo V70 first generation, this first gen C70 or 850 or S70 door actuator. Okay, so as I have seen on many YouTube channels, you can get pretty good quality videos about how to get these out of your car. I'm not going to mention them, and also they have give you some instructions and details as well, but I'm gonna focus here on mainly about how to swap the motor, and some of my advices hopefully will give you some good tips before you do this job. Right, so this is from 99 model V70. This is the first generation, and I have been driving this car quite many years. And as I gonna show you some of my thoughts on what I have done with it. So my driver's side door, the motor will drive the pin on the door up when you press the unlock button on the cold days. But however, it doesn't work during the hot days. Okay, as you probably know, I heard in this metal casing of the motor they have a heat protection function. So I think that's probably my case for the driver's side door. But this actuator is from the left side back door. Okay, this motor in my hand was in this place about half an hour ago. So this is the original motor, and you see here, this is Johnson. Okay, this one I believe is made by a Hong Kong firm, and they do supply many other car brands, Land Rover for instance. Okay, so this is the OEM, this is the original one from this car. This is not a junkyard part that I just happen to have. So let me show you here. In this casing, or chamber I like to call it, you have two gears. Okay, this motor delivers power to the shaft and drive this smaller gear before I put the power here to the bigger one, which finally moves this white mechanism here. Okay, which it connects to the rod for the door pin. Right, so this one has been there for decades. Okay, it's old enough, and I have mentioned earlier, I have one works on the cold days, one doesn't work for the entire time. Okay, so I'm not gonna bother to fix it because I don't trust something, you know, that fix will last as long as this one did. Okay, so I just swap a new one in. And I have mentioned two things specifically to the seller on the internet. I live in China, by the way, so I can get them really cheap. This motor here, this is the new one just swapped in, is made generally for cars, but not for this model specifically. So two things you have to remember. I require this motor without the heat protection, so I don't have to worry about it in some years after I'd done this job. Okay, this is what I told the seller, to give me a motor without the heat protection. But another thing is, he had mentioned, he told me, okay, because it had made generally, so it might works on your car in the right way, or not in the right way. Let me explain. Okay, if you have it, let me pull it out. Okay, this is the smaller gear. So this is the one at the bottom. The smaller gear will drive the big gear down there. Let me put it aside and put this motor out again. Right, so you can see here, this one says 1, 2. This 2 pins goes right in to the holes at the bottom of this motor. Okay, so let's say if pin 1 and 2 delivers the power in the right way, the motor will drive this white bit in the right way. Okay, so it will actually pop up, goes this way, actually extend it, and that's how you see the door pin pops out when you press the unlock button. Okay, if it somehow in the wrong sequence, in the wrong order, okay, in the opposite way, what you want to do is take this metal casing out. Okay, pull it out. Yeah, you probably know how to do it. It's very simple. You just have to press these two. Okay, use a screwdriver, flat tip screwdriver. Put on these 2 points before you can have the metal casing out, and put the motor, the inside, the core of the motor, flip it 180 degrees, like upside down, before you put the metal casing back. Okay, in that way you be able to flip it. Okay, and then you put it right there. But in that case, you already have the core of the motor upside down, so it will make sure it drives this one this way. Get it popped up once you push the unlock button. So what you want to do is to do a test. Okay, see if it goes, if you press the unlock button, it goes this way. If it doesn't, or does it in the opposite way, you might want to consider the flip to the motor, as I just mentioned. Okay, right, so the last bit I want to tell you about is how I get this cover, okay, out, because this is the original. This one was super tight, and I didn't want to break it. Okay, so you don't want to, if it gets brittle, you don't want to damage the whole area or even damage the connector or other parts of the actuator. So what you want to do is have a flat tip screwdriver. I just demonstrate with this pencil, right? So you want to give force to this point, and along this line, okay, near the motor area. You try to take it apart by hammering, okay, not with strong force, but little by little. So that's why you can see these cuts that I have made. It didn't damage a lot, okay, it only gives the appearance a little bit setback, but I've managed to give even forces to this side and this side. And finally, once I see some opening, I jammed the flat tip screwdriver. You need a long one with extension probably, and then try to let this go this way, okay, facing upwards, the tip facing upwards, so you can have the actuator dropping down and sort of turn it a little, you know, tilt it and try to give the force focus on this part. So that's how I get this one open. Just try to be patient and also give the force even and slowly work your way on this. So this casing, I think, is okay. Right, so the last part, the very last part, I'm gonna put the gears back in and clean the gear before I put some lubricant on the shaft and the surface of the gear, and then glue this cover back on. And this is my glue. It's Ergo. It's black, and this one is black as well, but it's some silicone. I want to seal it before I satisfy and put it back onto the car, right? So let me go ahead and do that. All right, so the inside has been, the gears and shaft has been lubricated with these lubricants that I have got from the package. You can get them very cheap in China, these package. Right, I have put this Ergo glue cover. This is some super glue in a good quality. Right, the glue is in the place, and I have pressed it all the way around because I really want this one. I don't want any play. Okay, if you have a loose cover, I don't like that, because I can feel the force of this motor. It's not a big motor, but the force running these gears is pretty strong at the very point you press the button. So I don't want any gear flying around or jamming in the way, right? So you want to seal it tight and keep the housing intact. Right, let me put the silicone to give a good seal. Right, so the silicone is in black. I like that. So finally I will put some Tessa tape on top of that soon after it dries, and to give it a good finish. Right, thank you very much for watching. Hope to provide more information for you next time. Thank you.